Alright. Hey, it has been a minute since I lost you guys. Hi, we are back. I've been doing a little bit of work here and there. Just some small things while I was just lost. I didn't want to rush into going ahead and posting the next video too quickly, making it seem like I was just in this depressive state, which, yeah, to be fair, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit down in the dumps recently. But hey, it's what it is at the end of the day. I'm just fancying to go ahead, do a little bit of just fun stuff, chilling out, relaxing. But in today's video, I'm going to be going over some stuff that I don't actually go over to, but I did end up wanting fact. I thought about it a lot, and I think it'd be nice to. What I want to go over today, belief. Now, when I say belief, I do not mean in terms of, the whole belief system, religion, and stuff like that. It's not one. What I'm talking about is your morals, what you believe in, what you want to do as a person. Because that's a lot of the time people don't realize, but when you go ahead, put yourself out there. When I say out there, but when you go ahead and go through a lot of things, your beliefs tend to change. What you do, what you think, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. You have a different idea and believing a certain thing differently. It's a very natural thing. And if anything, it's something that's expected. I mean, as you grow as a person, what you think and do will always change. And so in turn, that will go ahead and change who you are as a person. And the small things like, okay, well, do I want to go ahead and have this kind of food? Do I want to go ahead and maybe have a calm day and relax by a beach today, or something? You get the idea. It's it's something that's always gonna change slightly. You just don't know how, so to speak. That's not a bad thing to not know how it will change. But obviously, don't make it the entire world when it maybe it doesn't change, or maybe it does change, but not in the way that you want it to change. The reason I mention it is because I've been having a lot of talks with my friends recently about who I am as a person, the things that I believe in, and a lot of these issues stem from different little topics that we've talked about, and what they are. Obviously, I can go ahead and sit here and talk about a lot of things, like, all this happened and that happened and whatever, and talk and not really make any sense of it. But the main thing is that I want to go ahead and make it clear that with what I'm about to talk about, it's more so about myself. I'm a person who cares a lot about people, even when they don't deserve that care. And I know that. I'm aware of it. One of the things that people have always pestered me about, they've always said, Rita, stop caring so much. They don't deserve it. And maybe they're right. Maybe they don't deserve that care, but I guess for me, the thing is that I couldn't just go ahead and do that to someone. I couldn't stop caring for someone suddenly. I can't. It's not part of who I am as a person. And it sounds weird to say, because it's like, what do you mean it's not part of who you are as a person? You can just stop. And technically speaking, yeah, I can just stop. But what I mean by it isn't necessarily I can't just stop caring. I can't go ahead and turn around and say that person meant. Maybe you agree. Maybe you're on the same page as me, where you're like, no, I couldn't do that to someone. And if you are, then fair enough. If not, then I completely understand. You don't have to be. But for me, it is a very important thing to care for people. It's crucial almost, because caring for a person, in my mind, isn't just sitting there and waiting for the grass to get greener. It isn't going ahead and waiting for them to get better, but it's pushing them it's calling them out on things that, you know, maybe they weren't right on saying or right on doing and you don't agree with, and having actual discussions. I think having a friend is having someone who you can argue with, but also at the same time go ahead and still be willing to die for. And I'll always think that. I think friends are the people that you want to keep around you the most. People that will go ahead and make sure that you grow into the best version of you possible. I don't agree with this whole echo chamber thing where we always agree on the same thing. I think it was good to have someone that can challenge what you think. You can go ahead and play devil's advocate even if you don't like it, because it's important. Be able to go ahead and challenge an idea, and then after that be able to go ahead and kind of get a clue for it, you know. Maybe think to yourself, okay, well, if this is, you know, part A, then what's part B? You know, see all sides of the story. And for me, that's what I believe in. I believe that care is a very important thing. I think love is a very important thing, not in terms of just loving a partner, but loving a friend, loving your family, loving the people around you, giving them enough time of day to go ahead and maybe sit down and realize, okay, maybe what I said there wasn't nice, or so on and so forth. Just something like that. Obviously, I can go ahead and sit here and say all of this, but it doesn't change anything if it doesn't happen, that change. I still am a very firm believer in the fact that people can change. You don't have to be around for that change. That's the truth. People can change without you being there, and if that is something you don't like, then I'm sorry that I am the one to tell you it, but it's true. People will change, and you won't be around to see it. That's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I can see why you think it's a bad thing, but it isn't a bad thing. I would say treat it more so like this. Just remember that at the end of the day, while people can change... Fuck is the carpet? Oh, there. Oopsies. While people can change, and while people can, you know, always be slightly different, and will always be a case of that, you know, things will play out a bit differently to how you thought, or maybe, you know, you were in this really good kind of state of mind and suddenly something broke it, something that you cared about, you know, kind of snapped out, and now you're kind of stuck there. I mean, I know for me, I'm stuck, not in like a kind of bad way, but like I'm just stuck. I don't know what to do with my life right now. I'm very confused, to say the least. It's, you know, I'm in a part of my life where realistically I shouldn't have to worry so much about, you know, what other people think of me and how other people see me, but I do, because I care about people, because I want people to go ahead and know that they can talk to me, and that's how I am. You know, you don't have to be the same as me. I'm not saying that everyone should be like me, but I believe that caring for people is very important, and that's why I put so much effort in. That's why I go ahead and tell people that I want to go ahead and help. I always want to help people. I remember I was having this discussion with my friends during my first ever breakup, and I'm going to go ahead and say this now. That first breakup is going to be mentioned a lot because it was a very pivotal point in my life, because it made me realize so much about me as a person. But it made me realize as well that my friends have been putting a lot, and I mean putting up a lot of shit with me. Like oof. There we go. I don't know why I started to have like a panic attack at me, but alright. But this is really embarrassing to admit online, because there's no way of saying it without it sounding super fucking cringe. But I have a hero mentality. What that means, I'm not expecting you guys to understand, but the point of it is this. I put myself out there for people who don't need it. I like helping people, not because of the fact that it's just nice to be nice, but it feels like part of me gets completed whenever I do something good. you know, I can be a good person without the intent of, you know, all this kind of stuff of like being a good person, whatever, like that. Like I can do that, but for me, truthfully, the main reason I go ahead and do so much in terms of helping people isn't just because of anything. What the fuck? It's okay. It isn't just because of anything. It's because for me, it is inherently selfish. I like helping people a lot, and it makes me happy. You know, if I see someone that maybe, you know, needs someone to talk to, I will go ahead and be like, yo, you okay? You know, I'm the person that I will have random bursts of energy while in public, and I will go ahead and compliment someone. I will see a couple and I'll tell them that they're doing great and that I hope they stay together. I mean, hell, one of the funniest stories I've got from that whole thing is the other day I was walking home. I felt really good. I don't know why, I just really did. And there was a couple and they were hugging, they were like kissing each other. They saw me, they got embarrassed. I was like, oh shucks, you guys are so cute. So I shouted and I was like, you guys look really cute and all this kind of stuff. And then turns out they were breaking up. And I obviously, you know, I didn't expect that. That was the last thing I expected to hear. So I shouted back. I was like, what? Like out of pure shock, because I just didn't know how to respond. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, she's trying to break up with me. I had to go ahead and stand there for a minute just to go ahead and be like, no breaking up right now. No. I don't know what came of it. I hope they're okay. You know, I hope that they didn't break up. Or maybe they did, and it was better for the two of them. I don't know. But I hope wherever those two are, they're okay. But, side tangent aside, I should finish what I was talking about. But yeah, I like helping people. I've always had this thing where I've put myself down a lot more, you know, to help others, and it's not a good thing. I'm gonna preface this now. What I'm talking about and the way I act right now, or I'm talking about acting, is not a good thing. It is not something that you guys should idealize. It is not something that you should do. But it is one of the things that is my biggest character flaw, we'll say, that regardless of that, I care a lot about people and I like helping them. I mean, hell, I'm the kind of person that, you know, regardless of how much you hate me, I would rather help you and have helped you than sit there in silence and not have helped you, if that makes sense. Like, as in, let's say you're an ex, I'd rather help out, you know, even if you don't deserve it, than sit there and think to myself like, nah, I don't want to help. Because to me, helping out a person that, you know, doesn't deserve your help, I like it. Not because of like it makes me feel better or anything, but just because, like I said, I like helping people. I like being helpful to people. I like, you know, making sure that others know that there are people who care about them. And, you know, maybe if there's no one to fight for that corner, I can fight for them. I don't mind doing that. It's stupid, it's silly, I know. I've had all my friends tell me that I'm an idiot for it, but I'm never gonna stop doing it. I mean, so many of my friends, they don't realize it, but I've really fought for their corners before because I respect them. I care for them. And for me, you know, it's especially important to go ahead and care for them. It's especially important to go ahead and give someone that same love and care that maybe you didn't go ahead and get. You know, I'm a big believer of treat others how you want to be treated, and, you know, maybe, you know, it doesn't always work out like that. I mean, hell, recently I've learned the hard way that, you know, you can treat someone with 110% and you'll still get, what, 50% at tops? You know, maybe there'll be people out there who will go ahead and give it more, but it's a very, very unpleasant thing to go ahead and think about. Go ahead and realize and have to kind of live with that, you know, regardless of how much effort you put in, you know, it doesn't change how a person feels about you. I think the best description I could give of it is in terms of loving someone, like actually loving someone, not just like loving a friend, but being in love with someone. If someone doesn't love you anymore, you can't love them harder and they'll change their mind. I remember I saw that, and I don't know, I guess for me what... Ooh, whoa. Okay, sorry, timeout. What the fuck? Is that the stronghold? That's pretty fucking sick. There's another one? Damn. Well, I'll be damned. I guess I have a lot of exploring to do. But yeah, it was a really difficult one to go ahead and sit there with, because it was like, I don't know, I guess hearing it and understanding it without having to re-listen to it is what killed me, is because it's like I got the message straight away, you know, behind that whole thing. You can't do it. It's true. You can't love someone harder and they'll suddenly fall in love with you. It sucks, but it's just how it is. You know, I remember initially I was gonna make this video all about, like, you know, what you believe in, and I still will, but it's like I wasn't gonna talk about me too much, but I think it's kind of important that I explain this next part to understand, make you guys understand like where I'm coming. If you guys don't know, at the end of Minecraft, in the game, there's a little poem. I can't remember the exact line. I'll probably go ahead and pull it up in the editing. But it's something along the lines of, the universe is love, and you are love. Something along those lines. Or like the universe said I love you. And basically it's just, you know, like, this world is cruel. You know, it's not pleasant, not nice. It's not nice to do that. Sorry. But you know, even then, it kind of like it shaped how I feel about a lot of things, because I kind of thought about it. I was like, hold on, like, it's got a point though. Like, you know, regardless of how much you care for a person, it won't go ahead and suddenly change how they feel about you. It won't go ahead and suddenly change the fact that, you know, maybe that person is, you know, it doesn't care, but there is one thing that will always love you, and that is the world around you. You know, if you believe in religion, then for you maybe the universe is God. Okay. For me personally, I am not religious. I don't believe in God, so I don't really attain to it. But that may be your way of viewing it, and if so, then I hope it still gets the exact same message across. You know, sometimes the people you love the most won't always be around. However, there are people that will love you, that will give you that love, that will give you that respect, will give you so much that you don't realize you actually wanted or needed. And by the time you get it and they give it to you and you're there, you know, kind of stuck thinking like, wow, I wish I'd got this sooner, it feels silly. Another quote, actually, I saw, it was on Instagram, I quite liked it. It was, you can walk through the wrong doorway and that's okay. You can always walk through the wrong door. It's not the end of the world. But what's wrong is to go ahead and stay in that room for the rest of your life. And I think that's a really good way of putting things. That, as well as, you know, all of stuff that you chose to do in your life, you can still make mistakes. Everyone does. I make mistakes. You know, I'm like the perfect example of making mistakes. Not in like a self-depreciating way, but like I've made a lot of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I've made a lot of mistakes. You know, I'm not a perfect person. There's many times where I can think to myself where I could have been better. To people who I love, to people who I don't know fully, and you know, I'm a person who cares a lot, and that's my issue. My own problem, but that's how it is. I care. I care about people, and I will always care about people, because at the end of the day, I like caring. I like giving a shit. And I'm never going to stop doing that. I'm never going to stop caring for a person, because at the end of the day, it's nice to worry about someone. So at the end of the day, you don't have to always worry about everybody. You can worry about one person, maybe two, you know, maybe just your family or anything like that. That is truly what I believe is the best part about being a person. You can choose to care about a thing. Again, with what I've explained, it is my personal beliefs. I personally think it's best to go ahead and care for everybody. You may disagree, and that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, we will always never see eye to eye, and that's good, actually. Good never to see it, not never, but not to always see eye to eye, because it helps further a point. You know, like I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but being stuck in an echo chamber is one of the worst things possible, because then you never grow to develop your points. You just go ahead and stay in the same kind of area, same kind of room, and so from there it ends up being a problem for you, where it's just kind of like, oh, I'm stuck in this place where I've got this kind of mentality, and you know, it's not helping me. And that's it. You're stuck there. You can't do anything about it. The most you can do is maybe suck it up, cry about it a tiny bit, and that's it. And that is it. But at the end of the day, how you handle things is how you handle it. How you believe in things, the faith you put into people, or just things in general. You know, at the end of the day, like I was saying, you don't always have to be the perfect person for someone. You can just be perfect for yourself. And that's it. You just have to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect for anybody else. As long as you're happy with who you are, you're good. But to go ahead and get myself back on topic with what I was trying to talk about, and then I end up going on my tangent. Whatever you believe in is what makes you as a person who you are. Don't be afraid to challenge your own beliefs. Don't be afraid to go ahead and think, okay, well, is this really what I want? Is this really what I believe in? Because to be fair, while yeah, it can seem pretty scary, it's not a bad thing. You know, like I was saying earlier, it's not a bad thing to go ahead and think otherwise about something you believe in. All that does is, and all that means is that, you know, you want to go ahead and think, okay, is it really what I believe in? You know? And again, that's not a bad thing. But make sure that you're always ready to hear other people. This one's a bit of a weaker video, I know. I could have worded a lot of things better, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk. Again, it is one of those topics that I'm not really fully certain on, and so I'm trying to go ahead and further it, and just, you know, get a discussion started at the end of the day. Because it'd be nice to go ahead and just talk to people, see what you guys think of it. I got interrupted there by the mobs. But yeah, just to see what you guys think, what you guys believe, because at the end, I don't know, at the end of the day, I guess it would be nice to go ahead and have some other input rather than just my own. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'm gonna keep playing a bit of Minecraft in silence, just obviously messing around, doing some mining. I might end up going to that place over here somewhere, taking a look at it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see though. But But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did like this video and you thought, maybe someone else would benefit from hearing about it, then, obviously give it a look, give it a shout to them. It would always be nice to have someone else, give their input. So at the end of the day, thank you. Guys, again, want to go ahead and see more videos like this, let me know. I'm very happy to go ahead and do this kind of content. It's quite fun. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.